So today I'm going to talk about something a little bit different than usual. A bit of a throwback to 8.5 years ago. And today I'm talking about the Xbox 360 Arcade Edition. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is JD. And if you want to see more content like this and you haven't already, then consider subscribing. So today I want to talk about the Xbox 360 Arcade Edition in modern day. What it's like, how it plays, does it actually still play, all those sort of things we're going to get to in the video. So I bought this thing about 8.5 years ago in the summer of 2008. And the original game I bought was Gears of War 2. And that was a massive jump from the PS2 to the Xbox 360. Now, I didn't have an HDMI cord because we were still in transitional phase to HDMI, so HDMI wasn't included. You had the AV output, which was that red, white, and yellow, those three cords that plugged into the back of the TV. So I didn't get to experience it in all its HD glory, and HDMI cords were still expensive because we're still in that transitional phase, like I said. So there was like a whole bunch of things that were missing from this thing to actually be able to play it. So no games came with it, you didn't have Wi-Fi, and you barely had any storage. So this is how it went when this thing initially launched. There were about 3 tiers of Xboxes. You had the arcade, which is this one, which was the base edition at $200. Then you had the Pro, which was like $350, if I believe that was the price. And then you had the Elite, that was around $500. So you had these 3 different things. They had increased accessories as you went up the tiers, of course. So it was basically almost unplayable when you first got this thing. You didn't get any games, you got a controller, and I was like, alright, so now what? So I went out and bought a game, which I initially bought just to get the game rather than the actual 360, and that was Gears of War 2. So, moving on, how does this thing actually perform? Well, it actually still works, believe it or not. Now, this thing has gotten the Rings of Death a few times, and these things were notorious for the red Rings of Death. So I rarely see these things around because they are so old and they were not reliable whatsoever. So, yeah. Now, I want to talk about what I actually had to get this thing working. I didn't actually have Xbox Live until a year later, in about 2009, and that was because I didn't have the money to go out and buy a Wi-Fi adapter alongside a new hard drive, because 500 megabytes was nothing. Even back then, 500 megabytes wasn't enough. It couldn't even save games at that point. You could save a couple, but with the updates and the game saves, it just piled up really fast. So I bought a refurbished 120 gig. Yeah, 120 gig was the largest amount I can get for this thing for about $100. They had a 60, 90, and 120 gig. And then I had to get the Wi-Fi adapter. I got the Wi-Fi adapter later when I bought Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 because I was like, dang, I got to play this thing in multiplayer. And that was an awesome game, by the way. Call of Duty, what has happened to you? But that's a personal side note. So, anyways, the Wi-Fi adapter was another $100. So this thing came out to $400. I might as well have bought the Pro or the Elite that came with these things, or at least I believe they came with these things. Now, in all honesty, I think this thing was actually a pretty good buy, especially for being 8.5 years old. It's really easy for technology to go under the radar after just a few years, and this thing still compares pretty closely to its predecessor, the 360 Slim. And despite buying all those extra accessories, I still think this thing was actually a pretty good buy. So as you can see here, I'm playing Call of Duty Black Ops 2 Zombies, and the game looks great. The only downside is when you put discs in the disc tray, it sounds really loud, but I actually don't mind that. Especially for being 8.5 years old, this thing plays great and still runs smoothly. So yeah, I mean, I can't really ask much more than that. So that's the Xbox 360 Arcade Edition 8.5 years later. It's pretty crazy to see this thing still going, and it's one of the few survivors, but it's held up pretty well for its years. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you want to see more videos like this, a bit of a throwback, I have some other items that I can do. And if you like the content, please let me know and like it. That would help me out a lot. And consider subscribing if you want to see more content like this. And thank you guys for watching.